All right, everyone. Trump and his businesses are suing right now to keep the House from subpoenaing financial records pertinent to the fact that he's under perpetual audit. His lawyers have openly stated, and this is true, that he shouldn't release that material. And here's the thing. It's his right not to want that material to be made available while he's under audit. It just makes sense. His lawyers advise it. Any sane person would assume, yeah, the IRS is gunning for me right now and trying to basically take everything I own because I've got a lot of stuff, and so that's what happens when you make it too much, I guess. There's a sweet spot where you're not making too little, but you're not making too much, where you get left alone generally, as long as you're not doing stupid shit like trying to cheat on your taxes. But once you get to a certain point, I have a feeling you get audited quite often. Because they're like, well, if they are cheating, we can recover millions. It's not like we recovered $10 or, $100. We recovered $100 million or something. That's what they're hoping for. So he's under perpetual audit. It is his absolute right to sue to prevent the disclosure. But here's the problem, the optics of it. The Democrats, who don't like him anyway, so I'm not sure it matters too much, will assume that this is evidence of guilt. They'll say, aha, he doesn't want to give his financial records over because he's cheating on his taxes. But this is an almost 3-year-old issue now. This was their original fixation before the Ma Russia bullshit that emerged after he won the election largely. The Ma Russia stuff was really thereafter. What they said is, oh shit, he won. There has to be some explanation for this. How can the American people vote for the wrong person? The person not immediately evidently controlled by, the Rockefellers or something like that, I guess. The Rothschilds. Not to get too conspiratorial, but they do buy and sell people in Congress a lot, it seems. Or George Soros. No, there's got to be some explanation. Aha, it was the Russians. Now, the funny part was they spent 2 years worrying that Trump, if elected, was going to say that the election was illegitimate if he lost. And so they talked about, well, the election's perfectly fine. No, nobody can hack it. There's no fraud of any kind. There's no voter fraud. There's no busing, even though we've got people on tape admitting to it. By the way, not sure what happened with James O'Keefe in New Hampshire. He had provided evidence, actually, that someone had voted twice, and then they called him in before, I guess, a grand jury or some stupid shit like that. And keep in mind, that's New Hampshire, the live free or die kind of libertarian state, and James O'Keefe can't even get by doing journalism there. It's a real problem. I support Trump in this. He shouldn't have to disclose shit to Congress, and they can't really compel him to. They're going to have to drag this out in the court system for years, dude. He's Donald Trump. He's got plenty of money for a team of lawyers. Yes, he's probably one of the few Americans who can actually fight Congress or one of these other bodies, at the top echelons of governments, whether it be in politics straightforward or in bureaucracy. These groups have virtually unlimited funds because they steal from taxpayers and then they use it to abuse other taxpayers. That's unfortunately what we've devolved into as a clown world sort of dystopia. There are still some shining aspects of truth, light, and wisdom in the United States, especially compared with Europe, but there are plenty of problems, too, that we need to tackle. What's he doing wrong? If you're under audit, no, you don't want to have to give testimony or give up a bunch of financial records. He shouldn't have to anyway. There's no probable cause as far as I can see. What probable cause has been offered by, the Democrats in the House as to why they need these records? What makes you suspicious on his taxes? What they say, well, if there's smoke, there's fire. Okay, where's the smoke? I'm not seeing a plume of smoke. I think that you're just hallucinating. I don't see any particular reason to think that he fudged his taxes. They say, well, his dad did weird tax stuff years ago. Okay, that's not Donald Trump. It doesn't really matter. How long has his dad been dead anyway? And I don't think they have any proof that he did that. It's just a decent, educated guess. It's speculation. I don't really care if Trump's initial money came from dirty dealings that his dad did. He managed to take a few million and turn it into billions. That's success. Sorry, but anyone trying to argue, the Democrats did this during the election. They're like, well, he's not as successful really as people think. Look at Atlantic City. Okay, yes. He got the idea that having several casinos that would compete with one another in a declining area, that would be a good idea. That obviously didn't pan out, and that is a major failure on his part, but a lot of his businesses have done fucking really well. If they haven't, then why does he own, fucking 40, 50 major skyscrapers around the world? Golf courses, resorts, condo developments, everything else under the sun? There's Trump everything all over the world, dude. He's a successful man. I think some people, when they say, well, he's not really that successful, he's just a shyster. Okay, well, then you're jealous. You wish you had his kind of money. You wish that you could blow $1 million a day and not miss it. Or that you had a helicopter that was more fancy than Air Force One or something like that. Excellent. No, I think that he's done a great job. But just because someone's successful doesn't mean they cheated on their taxes. It means the IRS looks at them and sees them as a cash cow. Wow, we can nail this person, get 20 million quick bucks. All we got to do is sue them. Yeah, but the problem is, of course, they didn't realize Trump has the money, because he is successful, to fight them forever. So yeah, he shouldn't release his financial bullshit at all. And it was funny when AOC's like, well, we're not asking you. We're telling you. I'm a big, strong mama bear doing the Kamala Harris shtick. The Clintonian thing. It just doesn't come off well. And they're not going to be able to compel him to give up that info anyway. He'll be dead and buried probably, but, even if he lives to an average lifespan, 5-10 years from now when he keels over, they still won't have his tax info. It'll be fucking hilarious. That's about all. Peace out.